Hello, fourth graders. Today I'm going to be showing you how to subtract mixed numbers. I'm using the same chart that I used when I was adding mixed numbers, but today we're going to be subtracting. Okay. And to do this, I'm using the same chart, which had whole numbers and fractions. And I'm reminding myself that a mixed number needs both of those. So let's get started. So with my first equation, I'm going to have two wholes. Okay. And with this particular question, I'm going to be representing a whole with fourths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 fourths and another 4 fourths. And together, they make two wholes. And my first fraction is going to be 3 fourths. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Which I'm going to be subtracting, and then I'm going to be subtracting one whole, and my fraction will be 2 fourths. If you remember from my adding mixed numbers video, I had mentioned something, I had mentioned how important it is to start with the fractions when we're subtracting mixed numbers. Today we're not going to deal with regrouping and borrowing, but again, I want to remind you that it is important that we start with the fractions in case we have to regroup and borrow from the whole number. That will be shown in a different video. Okay? So today, we're not going to have to regroup, but I'm still going to start with the fractions. So I'm looking right here. 3 fourths, and I'm taking away 2 fourths. We know from our adding and subtracting videos and practice that our denominator does not change. So I know that 4 is going to be my denominator. And I can look just at my numerators. 3 minus 2, or 3 fourths minus 2 fourths. Using these cubes, I can do a kind of a cancel out method. So I'm going to pick up my 2 fourths, I'm going to put it on top, and those 2 fourths get canceled out. I'm going to take those away. And what is left is 1 fourth. So 3 fourths minus 2 fourths is 1 fourth. And I'm going to do that same process with my whole numbers. So now that I've done my fractions, I move on to the whole numbers, here and here. Okay? So I pick up my 1 whole and I see what it can cancel out with. Those cancel out. I'm going to take those away, and I'm left with 1 whole. And if we think about it, 2 minus 1 is 1. So what was left over was 1 and 1 fourth. We started with the fractions, then we did the whole numbers. Again, I'm using cubes to illustrate this. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can use a picture to cancel these out. I'm going to do another example here. Instead of having 4 in our denominator, we are going to have 3 in our denominator. So here I have 3 groups of 3/3. Okay? And when I put those together, they make 3 wholes. Whenever the numerator is the same as the denominator, it's equal to 1. So I have 1, 2, 3. My fraction is 2/3. I'm going to be subtracting 1 and 1/3. Okay? I always start with fractions. So 2/3 minus 1/3. I know my denominator will be 3, and I'm going to do that cancel out method. I'm going to pick up the cube, place it on top. I see what cancels out. Those ones are really stuck together. I see what cancels out, and I take them away because I'm subtracting. And I'm left with 1/3. 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3. Now I move on to the whole numbers. I pick up my 1 whole. I see what it cancels out with, and I take it away. 3 minus 1 is 2. So 3 and 2/3 minus 1 and 1/3 gives me 2 and 1/3. So here are my two whole numbers. Here's my 1/3. That's using cubes. Now let's take a look at how we can draw a picture if you don't have cubes available. You can also use your fraction strips that you created. You can try to make your own cubes. If you don't have those resources available, that's okay. Let's draw a picture to show it, okay? So here we're gonna have, let's go 2 and, no, you know what? Let's do 3 and 4/6. Get ahead of myself, so I'm gonna put the fraction over here. 3 and 4/6, and we'll subtract it from 2 and 1/6. So, picture time. I know I'm going to need 3 holes. And those are going to be split into sixths because my denominator is 6. Okay? And each one of these is shaded in to show there's 6/6, which is equal to 1. Here's another 6/6. Now I have 2 holes. And last but not least, another 6/6. And together, that gives me 3. 3 holes. Now time for my fraction. Again, it's split into 6 pieces, but this time I'm only going to shade in 4. So I've created 1, 2, 3, and 4/6, so 3 and 4/6. And I'm going to subtract 2 holes. Draw my picture again. Okay. Do a quick shade in. And my fraction, 1/6. Those are not equal pieces. Sorry, I'm going a little fast here. Okay, so here I have a visual representation of 3 and 4/6 and 2 and 1/6. I start with the fraction. And here, I can't pick up my drawing, but I can see that I have one piece. So I'm going to cross out one piece. And I'm going to cross out one piece for my fraction. Notice I'm starting in the fraction section. And I'm going to see what was left over. And here I have 1, 2, 3 pieces out of 6. My denominator did not change. And the numerator, I found it by doing 4 minus 1, which gives me 3. Moving on to the whole number, again, I cannot pick these up and cross them out. But I can cross out one whole and cancel it out over here. I can cross out another whole and cross it out over here. Looking at what's left, I've crossed out all of my whole numbers, and what's left is one whole. So 3 minus 2 gave me 1. So 3 and 4/6 minus 2 and 1/6 equals 1 and 3/6. Okay. Keep drawing pictures. Use your cubes, use manipulatives to help you out. If you don't draw a picture, remember to start with fractions first. You can recreate this chart. I split it into 2 sections, whole number and fraction, whole number and fraction. Okay. I hope this helps. I'm going to be making another video and posting it on how to subtract when we need to regroup. So that'll be a challenge that's available to those of you who are ready for it. Okay. Good luck. Keep going. You're doing awesome.